Namaste. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Welcome to Cafe Stimulate. Thanks for stopping by and having coffee with me. If you are having coffee, that is wonderful, or whatever beverage you choose to drink today. I myself today am not engaging in my beverage because I am starting a new cycle within myself. And I definitely feel the shift in the atmosphere. And today, if you knew it, that it is a new moon day. And so with that new moon, you can feel the energy and the shift that's going on. If you don't, then it's okay. Maybe, when you finally get tapped in, or you feel when you are tapped in, that you understand, these type of things. And as you know, when the moon is closest to the earth, it has the ability to shift the tides in, the water. And as human beings, we are about 60, 65, 70% water, and our brains are about 80% water. And so it being very close to the earth, it does take its effect, also it has its effect on us as well. Okay, so I am choosing to go along with this shift because it's very new and inviting to me. And I'm like, okay, so there's a change I knew for a while that I needed to take place. But then I was just like, you can say that you're just not, prepared for. And now it's really setting, on my spirit, like, it's time. And I actually feel ready. And how I know that I feel ready for this change is because I actually feel the motivation to go forth in it. And so my favorite coffee, it will always be, it's just like I have to find a way to work it back into my routine, even though it is a keto coffee. The last time that I went on like a fitness or journey, I found this coffee. It's called Rapid Fire Caramel Macchiato, and I love it. I loved it so much that even when that journey ended, I kept drinking the coffee. That's how amazing it was. And now we are moving towards a time of purification. And what's interesting is actually February is the time for purification. And I actually have some information on that I can read, where the name derives from. Okay. And it says the name of the month February comes from the Roman festival of purification and cleansing. And also it says the month February literally means month of cleansing. So if you didn't, know that, then that is a fun fact. And if you ever felt like during this time that you just need to go through a spiritual fast or a cleansing or things like that, maybe you was, in line with the timing and what's going on. It's like, yeah, Paula, it's January. I know, but the shift that's taking place is like, now. So somewhere during this time, I knew that we talked about planting seeds during the springtime. And, that's the season. And I actually ran across a post that somebody put up talking about seasons and cycles. And it said something, that was very, very cool. It said that cycles are something that you close out, and seasons are something that naturally occurs. And it got me actually thinking about the last post that I was talking about the seeds and planting in time. And when I started talking about December, in December, it's the month, it means number 10. And I started thinking about that and the things that take place during December. And I was like, wow, this is interesting, because when New Year's begins, at the end of December and the beginning of January, that we are all like in that New Year's mood of clearing out all the old cycles and bringing in the new. Now, I know some people were talking about, the conflict of the new years. There's one that we start, with the Gregorian calendar, and the one that is, the actual new year, which starts in the spring. But even though, those two exist, they still work out for our good. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. I'm going to tell you why. I'm getting there. Okay. So first you have November, right? And we welcome November in with a Thanksgiving. And then when we welcome November in with Thanksgiving, we're talking about, these times that we are, switching through our different frequencies. We're feeling grateful, we're feeling thankful. And then you have December, and the 1 and the 0, if you think about that, those two together, is about coming into a balance. And it's a very joyful time. It's a time where a lot of people, because, in the wintertime, it can be really depressing, right? For some people. And, and mostly because we don't have a lot of sun. And for me, I'm not saying I'm depressed during the wintertime. No, I'm born in the winter. I love, the beautiful things about it, but I do miss the sun. Because I love being outside and green grass, and I just like being, outdoors. But, in, the Christmas season and things like that, everybody loving on each other and people, thinking about gifts to give to each other and things, it creates a very high vibration, which is very good, especially, for people that are, during the winter months, are kind of feeling like low in their energy. Okay. And so if you look at it in this way, as we are preparing to move into springtime, all the events that are taking place until we get there. And so the cycles, the cycles and the closing out that have to take place. When we do that, it's like they call it New Year's resolutions, resolutions, to go back and look at the things that didn't work. All the cycles that you implemented from the last New Year and the things that didn't work. And so you're trying to, come through with some new solutions that actually, work. And so it's your time of reflection. I know somebody was saying something about, people doing the vision boards and things like that, which I think is great. With the vision boards, and, you are doing the visuals, and you're doing all the things that are what people consider, manifesting, or, But what really actually all it is the reprogramming of the subconscious mind, by removing old cycles and replacing them with better and, new cycles. And that's basically all it is. And so you think about, well, actually, one thing I love about, if you look into different religions, are that they always have these days or holidays that it's all kind of about purification of the spirit and the soul, where they, like, in Jewish traditions, where they tell people to come forth, and they have like their days of repentance and their times of letting go, times of cleansing, and times of this. It's always about the purification and the cleansing, of the spirit. But by having those days set in place, some people don't think about it, that often, that I need to stop and cleanse my spirit. But in their religion, it's already automatically put there, where they're just like, I need to explore, stop, and do, introspection. Have I wronged somebody? Have I did this to somebody? I need to bring this, before God and cleanse myself of these things. So actually, when they set those things forth, I actually didn't see it as bad. It's actually, getting people to go within and confront what's going on with them in the internal, and also confront what's going on in the external, the world. So I find that very interesting. And just like you have the Catholics that embrace you having confession, they find that very important for the spirit, somebody being able to, clear out, their mental, clutter or whatever that they have, being able to release, so that they're able to, move on in life and make, clearer decisions, and let go of the past and what have you. Also, I used to see in movies where mobsters used to go and have confession, and they walk out of there as light as a feather about what the things they would tell, the priest. And, it's kind of weird, because, they go right back in, and they're continually doing more evil things after that, even after they confess. But they still have that opportunity to make that confession. So that's present. It's good for the people who use it for the right things, and people who are very interested in, their, internal, that's their internal state. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep that, in a high vibrational. And because when you're high vibrational, that's when things, can really work for you. That's when things can really go for you, because, your intentions are pure. Okay? So let me get back on the thing about the cycles. So at the new year, that's what happens, we're clearing out the old, even though we, have that celebration. And I know some people are like, no, I don't do all that. And you know what? I understand all of that, because I engaged in, when I, was with, my parents and things as a kid growing up, holidays was everything. And I, growing up and even being on my own as an adult, Christmas, holidays, every holiday, everything. But as I started to come into my own, and I was starting to like really get into, my understanding of my connection with God. I was actually using religion, to get close to God. And so, I was reading and going about things, and I was, releasing things, and, like, does this make me close? And does that make me close? And does, eventually, I landed, in, I'm not gonna say in spirituality, really, I'm sovereign, meaning that I'm a child of God. And I'm with the flow of, where he takes me and where he carries me. Because I understand, if you put yourself, under all these restrictions of, of the things of this world, meaning being conformed to the things of this world, if you're too weighed down with those ideals and those things, you really can't move as freely as you want to, not as you want to, as God is trying to move you. If you don't allow yourself, because you're tied to this certain structure or way of being, and God is really trying to move through you, you're not really being adaptable, in that way when you're tied to something else. So being connected to God is really, you have to be, free for whatever he tells you. And so you can move, accordingly in that way. Okay. And so back to what I was saying, so I had times where I did away with, all the holidays and things like that, which was a very good thing, because once again, I've talked about, attachment is the root of all suffering. It's actually a very good thing to allow yourself for a time to experience some things, to see if you're able to really, detach. Like, do you have that thing, or does that thing have you, kind of thing? And it was good for me to experience, not having some Thanksgivings, or not having some Christmases, and not doing some things, just to break the hold or the attachment of feeling like I gotta have it. Like, do you ever see, what happens during Christmas time when people are not able to have a tree, or not able to have gifts, or not able to have, those things, because they got it instilled in their subconscious mind that it's actually a necessity. You'll see people going broke, over Christmas. You'll see people, just really spazzing out, because, Christmas or Thanksgiving or these holidays don't go as they want them to. And you have to understand that that's a deep-rooted attachment, to the point where, you see people crying out on the internet, please, I can't get gifts for my kids. I can't do this, I can't get them, these things. Instead of realizing, like, this is just a holiday, it will pass. And you have to understand that some people actually go into a depression like state, over holidays. And so you just have to think about that. And when that happens, or when it actually happens, it does feel weird when you first begin to let go at first, you're like, oh, we're doing nothing. It's weird, because you're used to, having it and used to doing it like that, right? But your detachment from it, once you learn how to go with the, flow of life, and like, okay, sometimes we have, sometimes you don't, or whatever, it's like, wow, it really is just another day. It's just that, thing, that lock that we put on our own minds. Ooh, that limited belief that we put on our mind, that this has to happen. You have to do it this way. And if this doesn't go on, if we don't get a turkey for Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving isn't happening. If I don't have a tree, then it's not happening. That's, it's just another day. Those things are just things. And when you release those things, the people who have done that actually feel very free in their spirit. Now, like Paula, what do you do? Well, during those times, because these are very prominent things that you see like always in the store, and you can't miss it. You can't miss Thanksgiving, you can't miss Halloween, you can't miss, nothing, because they're everywhere, right? And so I do have children, and me as a parent who's got to experience Christmas, the excitement of Christmas and excitement, of just, being able to expect things. I never wanted to take that away from my children. And so, what I found out you can do, there is nothing wrong in creating your own traditions. And if you're afraid of celebrating because of the background of it, hey, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But we are creators. God has put us on this earth that we are able to, you're not bound by any of these traditions of this world. You can create new ones for your family. And so for my family, during the same time, because Christmas does not own December, and Thanksgiving does not own, November. You are free beings to do on whatever day that you choose to do them. We celebrate the light, and I celebrate the light of God, and we celebrate with lights. And so that's, what I present to my kids. And do they get presents and gifts? Yes. But also, I have the mindset to teach them that, it's not, all about, because you have to teach them that balance, that it's not all about getting. We are both. We are both within us, the masculine, feminine, the giver and the receiver. And so we are able to do both. And yes, they can, have things, because it also, too, I want joyful children, children that look forward to the joys of life, the surprises of life. You know what I'm saying? You don't ever want to take that out of kids. You don't ever want to strip them just because, you're like, okay, well, we don't celebrate that holiday, so it's just nothing or whatever, I believe in life that as children, it's the most beautiful time to, cultivate their imagination. You ain't got to lie to them, if you don't want to, and tell them that Santa exists, because I don't tell them Santa exists. And because that's about belief. And if I want to empower a belief system, I want to empower them that there is nothing more powerful being that brings gifts from above, which is source, which is God. Believe in that. Believe in it all the way from January to December. Keep it going. Keep instilling that over and over. Who do we believe in? Do fat man come down the chimney? If you want to teach your kids that, hey, that's your freedom, in your lifetime. But, I instill that it is God always. Ain't no man, on this earth that dropped down through a chimney and gave us anything. We not going to spread that lie, as for me. But as for you, that's great, going into the holidays and however it's celebrated, how everything is still falling in line, in sync, because when you get to the new year, you're just in time for the actual springtime new year, when you are actually clearing out. You're celebrating being able, and not only that, you're doing it in a happy way. Like, I'm glad to get rid of, those things in 2024. I'm ready to implement some new ways of thinking and some new ways of being. And so it's almost like, making space. And what you have to do, in that cycle, and to end a cycle, you're actually making space for something new. You're digging out that hole, that void, preparing it for the seed, right? And so then, like I said, you have January, and in January, if you look up the meaning, I'm not going to look it up on here right now. If you look up the meaning of January, it's actually like a Roman god or something like that, but it talks about the two faces, one looking back and one looking, forward. And, that represents, yes, that was your past, but now you are looking forward. And then here comes February, the time of purification, which is interesting because we have what holiday? Valentine's Day. And it's really great, when you're in love and it's actually somebody, that you love and trust, and that can be very beautiful to celebrate during that time. But also, we've kind of made that time a time of lust. Like you have to go find somebody so you can have a Valentine's Day with, what I'm saying? And, and get into that lustful energy, which is not good for that time of purification. You don't want to enter in a lot of lust when it's a time, for you to really flush all that type of thing out. Okay, about Valentine's. You know what? In Valentine's, it's, a good time to actually go within. It's a great time to go within yourself and to, embrace, the love of life. You're being alive today, and, the Spirit of God really, flowing through you, the life force. And so, don't worry about, looking for somebody to love, just embrace, home, the feeling of home within yourself. Okay? So I wouldn't try to run out on Valentine's just trying to find a date. It ain't all that serious. The best thing is to actually, time to purify and get ready, for March. And in March, that's the time when we are, walking into the new year. Is a time of spring. And if you look at, I was going to look up March and the god of war. Okay, well, here's something too. It says that that it derives from boundary. Also, the word boundary. Okay. So yeah, that's for March. I do know that in April meaning is open, like to open, blossom, things open up. And it's actually a time where people also celebrate, the resurrection. Isn't that great? And all the springtime stuff is out, and, the opening, because they said, they opened up the tomb, and then, Jesus, he wasn't there, and celebrating the opening and the blossoming of things. And yeah. So no matter what, everything, the seasons and the cycles are all patterns of change, and they're all working out together, because everything that you do up until, that spring season was preparing you, for what's to come. And so if you want to think about it that way, I just thought that was great, because at the end of the day, when I, was putting all this together, I was like, wow, even though whatever you think was bad, or however somebody was trying to make it, it all works out for your good. And my sister, because we got into talking about the cycles, another thing that got me to thinking like, yeah, I need to start putting myself in this new cycle, this new journey, and that I'm going to call, one day at a time. I'm just going to think about what actions and steps I need to take from day to day, because man, if you look back at 2024, you're like, oh my God, how fast it went. And if you thought that 2024 went kind of slow for you, you have to think about it in this way, because it's all about perspective. When you it goes back to what I was saying about my kids, and how you give people things to look forward to, and you give them just something to like, okay, this is life, and life has its surprises and things like that. When you always give yourself something, not saying you can be, we are content, yes we are, but to look forward to, then you can be like, you feel like time is just going, because those things that you once looked forward to are now showing up and coming, and things are happening. And if you sometimes feel like things are going slow, it's probably because you feel stuck in doing the same old things over and over and over again. So you need to do something to spice up your routine. And sometimes it's about giving yourself a little challenge. There's nothing wrong with a little challenge, I'm challenging myself. A new challenge is good. And however way that you want to do it, even if it's physically, mentally, spiritually, challenge yourself. And all of those challenges requires faith, a deep faith, and that we all need to always try to cultivate within ourselves. I keep saying the word cultivate because, the mind is the Garden of Eden, in which in that mind, you have the tree that is, of eternal life, and you have that tree of good and evil. But it's all within you, it's about what you choose. How, it said Eve, she chose out the garden, the tree of, good and evil, and, or it's the tree of life. And I just, I'm on that thing about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And just right then, I saw that it's all about your perception. Like there's from the Kabbalion, it says that the all is mind in the universe is mental. And you're wondering like, why are we using like all this the psychology things, and why is the theme in this season psychology? If you watch the movie The Matrix, the last one, the fourth one, he had the evil guy was actually a psychologist. Okay, I had to erase something because my phone is full. Okay, so Neo. And so his psychologist was keeping him on that hamster wheel of the Matrix. And while he was questioning, things within himself, that was actually more deeper of a spiritual nature. The things that plagued him was of, the spirit. And that was the thing that was really needing to be addressed. And the psychologist wasn't able to meet him at there, or nor was he trying, because it was the Matrix and he was there to, keep him there. And it's important for us to actually start studying our own selves and our own mind and the functions of it. And actually, in the Matrix, it says, it's the question that drives us. It is the question that drives us. What is going on? That's why I also talked in another video, about the taking the responsibility, because you learn more in taking that responsibility. It actually drives you to do more introspection, and because you want to get stronger in this, you want to strengthen your abilities, to do critical thinking, because all this is about character development. Okay. And so, you're strengthening those skills. You're learning how to strengthen, your emotions and when to use them and when to, to apply emotion to which and what, and to use your logic, your conscious mind, and to tap into, that balance, because situations come across to challenge your mind. Because that's what God is trying to do, trying to challenge your spirit. And things come in the things that you engage with, are seen, or the things that you ask for, the things that you pray for, are you ready for those levels? And try to think of things like that instead of getting mad at God, not really, or you saying that, God is not releasing something or whatever. It's time to look back within yourself to see, am I releasing? Is there something that I need to release? Is there something that I need to do? And, kind of course correct yourself. And you doing so, when those things begin to unlock for you, that's when you come into the knowledge, and it's like, oh, I know now. So the next time I feel like there's a blockage in the way, I look within and find out what that blockage is. And then I do what I need to take to remove that, whether it's a mental blockage, whether it's a spiritual blockage, or whether, whatever physical blockage, whatever kind of block, whatever it is, it's your job to look within and figure it out. Instead of sitting there, complaining and moping. I'm saying this as gentle as I can, because we've all had those times where we've been there and we complained and moped, but we didn't do what we need to do internally to find out, hey, let me go like a pipe or something, it's clogging the pipe, let's go inspect it and find out what's clogging the pipe, so we can, remove it. And that's what it's all about. God is only just strengthening you so that you can be able to move throughout this world more fiercely. Because He believes in you. And you have to, really believe in yourself in order for all these things to work. Because, He operates within you. And He operates through you. And then through you, you have to, hold on. Okay. I'll probably cut that out. I probably won't. I don't know. Okay. So He operates through you. So, I think I said everything that I need to say on this one. And, yeah, that the cycles and patterns, of change, no matter what's happening, the cycles are what you come to clear out. And this is from, because cycles we can go deep with cycles and things like that. So we're just going to say from a spiritual perspective, we close out cycles and the seasons, naturally, come in. And so that we should just take the time and look at the cycles, that are before us and see if we're doing what it takes to properly close out those cycles so that new ones can start and begin. Yeah, that's great. I think I'm going to end it at that. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed your coffee. I didn't get my coffee, but you got yours. But that's all that matters, okay? Well, hope you have a blessed and beautiful day. And Ashe. Bye. Thanks for stopping in. If you would like to contact me, email me at cafestimulate@outlook.com. Thanks again. Bye.